So what's up, man? I hope y'all boys are having a good night. It is a Monday. We've had some games go on. I can see that we are in these playoffs. I don't expect everybody to chime in and listen to this show, but wanted to go ahead and at least try to give somewhat of a breakdown as everything goes on. Obviously, you can see I am on the conference championship screen. We're gonna go through a little bit of all of this as we get closer to this second natty in league play. There's been some games already played, but we're gonna break this down a little bit, and I'll be right back for us to get started. Well, I bet y'all don't even know who that is. Some of y'all should know who that is. But we are looking at this conference championship screen as that has already been completed. There were some great games that got played in the conference championships as we have moved on to this first round in league play. Just want to do a quick recap. We did see looks like Washington taking on Maryland 38-35. A lot of close games for these conference championships games. Of course, Blaze had a crazy win in this one. Like I said, I kind of did a broadcast earlier just kind of discussing a little bit of the what I saw in that game. I don't think that was so much of Blaze just playing incredibly well. I think that was just Young probably not expecting his team to not show up for him the way it had for most of the season. A&M and Oklahoma, obviously they have the rematch. Not sure if this game has even been played just yet. Just moving along as I'm going down this screen. Of course, Smitty knocks out Solrak. This was a great game to watch. Probably one of my favorite games to watch that we saw out of the conference championship. And then, of course, we've got Florida and Miami. CJ switching over to Florida and then running through, yes, I'm going to say it, running through that conference and getting the national championship or conference championship game as well. There were some bowl games that got played in between that, but I'm just going to go ahead and switch over to what obviously really matters up to this point. I wanted to get in front of this first round being played and just didn't get that opportunity. So obviously, in my opinions, a lot of the scores that we saw up to this point, I was not shocked for the most part. Wanted to get predictions out, even talked about it with one of the admins. But again, like I said, man, working all those things kind of get in front. UCLA and Washington ended up being a great game. Obviously, Eastside takes over that UCLA team. We've got obviously with Fuzz switching over to Oregon. Kind of interesting because I'm curious of what this situation would have looked like if Fuzz would have stuck with UCLA and finished out this season prior to making the switch. Now you got the game of Washington and Tennessee. Obviously, that's going to be between Ronk and Blaze. We'll see what the outcome is of that one. NC State and Arkansas. I'm not crazy shocked that Nav won this game. I mean, I've said this before on shows before that I like the style that this guy plays the game with. And man, I want to point it out that I actually respect how I got a lot of respect for Nav just for how he communicates when there's an issue or something that pops up in the league. Some of y'all need to learn from that shit. But he obviously wins against Young. Obviously, they've been competing in that same conference and then goes up and plays against Smitty against LSU. Definitely a tough loss, but completed with NC State. No shock there as the guy has shown to have quite a bit of skill in his gameplay. And then, of course, Georgia and Notre Dame. T-Raw gets out of that one to face Colton. That'll be a decent rematch as both of those users played in the Natty last season. Florida and Oklahoma. CJ eventually does meet his match with Vicks. This was actually a pretty good game for the most part. Of course, as the game kind of went on, Vic obviously just had some plays go his way versus what CJ did. And of course, he got the result that it was. And then we get the rematch of the two users out of the SEC between Vic and Juwan. And I know the predictions I made the first time was that Juwan was going to beat Vic in that game. And really, as I said in a previous show, I thought Vic kind of made some interesting choices in the way he ended that game going against Juwan in the conference championship. I do not expect him to do the exact same thing when they play in this quarterfinal round. But we'll see how this game plays out. I do expect Vic to win this game. Out of the remaining games for the quarterfinal, I'm kind of going to keep the same trend. I think Blaze is going to take this one and be in that semifinal game. He's going to be going up against Smitty with LSU. Those two users kind of have a little bit of a rematch when it comes to these playoffs. They actually both saw each other in the Natty last year. Both situations pretty competitive going into this game for both teams. Does Smitty rebound from the game they had last cycle, and does he get past Blaze to get to this national championship round? We'll see how that plays out. I'm expecting Smitty to win that game. Notre Dame and Texas is a big game because, again, the last time that these two saw each other, obviously T-Raw took over the game from the first quarter and pretty much didn't let up on Colton up until the finish of that game, and he got the Natty the first season. And then that game right there, for me, really comes down to what kind of adjustments does Colton make the second time he sees T-Raw now in this playoff picture. I'm not sure how many adjustments he's going to make to address that team. Obviously, there may be some depth chart decisions that he has to look at. Obviously, everybody knows how both users try to play the game. I am expecting T-Raw to take this one and get to that semifinal round against Vic. And so we're going to have two rematches, most likely between Notre Dame and Oklahoma in that semifinal round with Tennessee and LSU. We're going to have users that are pretty familiar with one another. Of course, I'm expecting Smitty to get past Blaze to get to the national championship. Then, of course, it's going to be kind of a toss-up between Vic and T-Raw. I mean, T-Raw's got 3 losses this season. I mean, and to be quite frank, I'm not used to the dude having more than 1 in a season, if that. But he's got 3 up to now, so that really is kind of a toss-up between him and Vic. I think most likely T-Raw wins that game. Just seems like he's playing a little bit better than Vic to start this cycle of NCAA, which ultimately we will get a game with Smitty and T-Raw playing in the national championship. My thoughts have not changed. I still think that those two users, they played in the last playoffs, and just call it what it is. Smitty had that game. He had that game. Threw a terrible pass at the end, ultimately ruined his chances to walk out of that building with a dub and possibly have an opportunity to compete against Colton versus going against another user. I'm expecting him and T-Raw to play, and I'm expecting to see the same kind of game that we saw between both users. The only difference is Smitty's recently won a few games over T-Raw as of recent. But this is the playoffs, and everybody knows the playoffs looks a little bit different in gameplay, the decision-making. People are either way too risky or they're too conservative. And we'll see how that plays out between both users. I am actually going to lean on that being a close game. I am not going to call that one. Hopefully by the time we get there, I can jump on a show with Legend or one of the other admins to discuss who we think's going to win the national championship. But I do believe we're going to see, I think Smitty's going to get over the hump with Blaze and not have that same fight he had last time. But again, Blaze has built one hell of a team, so I could highly be wrong. But I do believe most likely Notre Dame is going to be in that national championship, and he's going to face Smitty. Other than that, man, hope you guys have a good rest of the day, rest of your night. Just wanted to make sure to put a little content out for the league, man. Y'all be blessed.